got him. That's a big one, or a nice one it feels like. Oh, I always say big when I set the hook on a muskie, but it's a nice fish. That's cool. That was a great jump, Jeff. Woo! Water's hot. Muskies are biting. I love it. Jeff and I are in a sweet place, Sunset Country, Ontario, in Wabigoon Lake. And we're fishing for muskies and maybe a little bit of everything. But this show is going to be all about electronics. We are in a great place, Lake Wabigoon. It's a really dirty water fishery, and what a great place to showcase how electronics can be used to help you find fish. All right, pop that out, bucktail back. There's a muskie, not a big one. So I'm just gonna let him go. Water's warm. See you, dude. So for a little tiller boat, you might look at all the screens and gadgets in this boat and think that's overkill, and maybe for a lot of people it is, but we're gonna walk through why we have each piece of technology here in the boat and how we use it. Okay, so we're gonna head to a new spot, and with this boat, I fish both, you know, with the tiller motor, so trolling, back trolling, and then of course in the bow, casting. So the boat has 4 screens in it, and it has mapping, it has 2D sonar, it's got down imaging, side imaging, and live imaging. And so what I like about the way this boat is set up is I can look at any transducer wherever it is on the boat, and I can also look at the maps wherever I am in the boat. So whether it's waypoints, whether it is my Lake Master chip, I'm able to see all this stuff. So everything is networked together. And when we're fishing Canadian shield water like this, of course these fisheries are vast, and Wabigoon is just a great example of a place where electronics are extremely important, especially mapping, because you can't see. It's not like being on a lake trout lake where you can see a reef, you know, from a quarter mile away, where here you're not gonna know about the reef until you're basically on it. So what I have for the mapping in here is I've got Lake Master's VX chip for the Ontario. Now if you fish Canadian waters, without it, it is really difficult to navigate. I'm not saying you can't come out here and navigate on paper, but having an electronic map and being able to make a map with that Zero Lines card is amazing. Just unbelievable. So to me, that's the most important tool that we have in this boat for navigating and for finding spots, is having a good map. That combined with the auto chart system, I feel like we're pretty good to go just about anywhere. Oh, you got one? Nice, awesome, Jeff. Woo!
That was cool.
That was cool. Top water, baby.
Yeah.
In the slop, I love it.
Top water in the slop. Let's go. Awesome, thank
Cool.
you.
Great, man. Woo! Woohoo! Boom, your little top water
Right.
produced. I will get out of your way.
Let's go.
Let you go ahead and hold your spotted leopard.
All right. Well, I would say you got to start somewhere, and that's where we're starting with that muskie right there. You know, Jared and I love to fish muskies, so we're up here chasing these. We'll probably chase some other fish too, but the main point is Jared has this boat absolutely rigged out with electronics, and there are so many features in these electronics that'll help you catch more and bigger fish, and that's what we're going to talk about. Awesome.
So with all this technology in the boat, there's only so much information that you can look at any given time, and that's of course based on how much screen real estate you have. So in the bow here, I've got an Apex 16 as well as a Solix 12. And I don't change the screen configuration all that much when I'm casting. I pretty much have the Apex 16 set up for Mega Live. It's a huge fish. And the bigger that image is, the more information you're going to be able to see. Not that it isn't there on a smaller screen, it just makes it a lot easier to see. Oh, there you engage with it. Oh, he likes it. When they're not biting, they're not biting. On the Solix 12, I have side imaging and I've got the map on top. So the side imaging paints me a picture of what's off to the side so I could see that, you know, okay, we're about 30 feet away from a weed line or the edge of a rock pile. And then with the forward facing, I'm able to forecast what's coming up ahead of us in terms of the structure. So to me, that setup is absolutely the best way to have this, this laid out for this Canadian Shield muskie fishing. One of the technologies that gets overlooked all the time that's still incredibly important is 2D sonar. And what we use the 2D sonar for primarily is looking at high speed. So it's a great tool to be able to run wide open, still see what the depth is, and then also a lot of these Canadian Shield lakes too have a lot of rock where it's hard to tell if you're driving over them with side imaging if there's indeed fish there. So we're using it for finding fish, especially in rocks, but also it's great for ripping across the lake, being able to see how deep it is, and if we do see the sonar start to come up, we can slow down and be cautious. Another really important piece of information to have on these Canadian lakes that aren't marked well, that have hazards, is your track. So, you know, a lot of times when you're going to a new spot, you're taking it easy, going slow, and once you have that track, try to get in the habit of saving it when you come in at night, because after a certain amount of time, it's going to start to rewrite that track. And I've made the mistake of getting good routes to a certain part of the lake, and then I forget to save it, and then the next time I want to go there, I have to go through the slow process again of making that track. So try to get in the habit of saving tracks every time you go check out a new spot.
You know, we're in one of my favorite places. We're in Sunset Country in Ontario.
Quality of the fishing is just stunning.
For everything.
Whoa, Sunset Country muskies.
Beautiful pike.
Big bass. What a walleye.
Tarzan, yay!
Yes!
It's close.
Super easy to get to.
You can fly, you can drive.
It's affordable.
That was awesome. Who doesn't want to come to a place and see some absolutely gorgeous country, wildlife? It's awesome, man. I just love fishing in Sunset Country.